Simone and her husband arguing about who is the better athlete. Is this really a thing? Olympic gold medalist Simone Biles took to social media to clock all of the people who think that she is bothered by her husband's quip after he called himself the catch in their relationship, and the subversive inference that she is not his type. That's what we all want to hear, don't we? Let's remind you how we got here. Here's the clip.
How did you do that, bro?
Man, it's really how she pulled me, man. That's the question.
Oh,
man.
Lord Jesus.
I just got to Houston. I probably have been to Houston 7 months. I was single at the time, so I'm just living, being me and myself. And COVID had just hit, but I had just went to Arizona, and one of my boys are like, hey, man, you gotta check out this app, And I'm like, man, I'll check it out. Like, what is it? It was called Raya at the time. So basically it's like a dating app, but you have to go through certain criteria to make sure that you're who you are. So literally have been on the app for a couple of days, man. And it's like, she pops up and I'm like, let me see who this is. Gymnastics, I ain't never, I never really paid attention to gymnastics. So it piqued my curiosity, So I'm like, okay, I'll see what's up. I swiped her and it said we matched. So I'm just like, oh, okay. So I'm gonna see what's up. So I go do my workout and I come back and I get I had some likes on my Instagram, and I'm like, oh, this might be. I'm like, okay. So I see what's up, and then I still waited. I'm like, man, I'm gonna wait till I, take a shower and everything. Then I come back to my phone, and then she messages me on the app, like, hey, you know what I mean? And I'm, man, this gotta be fake. I don't know. I didn't know who she was at the time, but the first thing that I saw was that she just had a bunch of followers. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, she gotta be good. I promise you, I'm a real life story. When she won the Olympics, I was in college and we didn't have NBC, we didn't have Olympic channels, and we're in camp. Late July, early August, so I'm not paying attention to, so I never would have had a moment to where I would have watched so.
So you was really the catch in.
I always say the men the catch, man. I always say we the catch, man.
Yeah, so she really booked you.
She did though.
Is what you're saying.
Cause I was fighting it. So
in truth, if I say this out loud, was Jonathan Owens ain't really want Simone Biles. Is what you're saying.
At the time, I'm not gonna say that.
That's what you're saying.
I was afraid. I was afraid to commit. I'm like, man, this is my third year. I'm trying to, I'm like, it's kind of early. But, like I said, man, it happened when you least expect it.
Okay, a lot went on there. A lot was said. I heard a lot. I don't know if that's how he meant it, okay? All the cackling and, they really boxed him in and he did need to moonwalk back. Some of it, Jonathan Owens talking about how he met Simone Biles. Owens would draw the ire of social media with some digging up of old tweets of his. I want to look at those. Didn't we look at those? And here they are. He's done a lot here. Damn, Gabby is good. Gabby with the gold. Gabby just need to get them bottom teeth fixed and then her smile will be cool. LOL. I want to pause there because, Aida, you're the comedian. The jokes fell flat there for me. Okay, you're going after this other champion's appearances, but I'll let you weigh in and then we'll get to the rest of what he said.
I'm on a different path in life right now, and I am definitely seeking peace in all things that I do.
Beautiful.
But I will warn these younger people, as a result of my own experience with social media, does not forget it is archival footage. And every time that you go on a public platform and you speak, it's going to live forever. Because if, they continue on with their marriage, which I hope they do, and they have children, your kids are going to see, that clip. And I just think, I do believe he got boxed in. It does feel kind of adolescent, the conversation. There's the looking for, everybody's always looking for the clips that are going to go viral. They got it. But I can't help but to wonder, because for us, it's a topic of discussion and for us to weigh in, but that's their real lives. That's an actual couple that's married, that's newlywed, under the microscope already. And so I can't help but to wonder what home feels like. And I hope it feels good. I hope she rushed it because she knows who she is. as she said she does. But I'm just like, you just got to be careful when you're running your mouth on these platforms, because it will come back to bite you. And if you say, I don't know, I never wore yellow before, guess what? They're going to find 15 pictures of you wearing yellow.
Yeah.
You just
they have nothing better to do, and that's what they'll do. And I think what you're saying is, number one, we don't know if this will age well. I think the odds are probably against that. What will the future children say? But also, you don't have to answer every question that's posed to you. And maybe relationships, particularly when you're two notable people, think about making those questions off limits. People can ask what they want and you can answer what you want. Just a thought. Others, though, calling into question Owens' real preferences in women. So watch this.
So I saw a video earlier of a girl saying, hot take, she don't think Simone Biles is her husband's type. And I agree. A lot of people are up in arms about the things he said, but I don't think anything he said is necessarily wrong on paper. He's the catch. She pursued him. He had to resist committing to her. None of those things are inherently wrong, especially if they're true, which it seems to be they are. But those aren't things you say about somebody you're head over heels attracted to, right? That's something you say about someone who had to grow on you for one reason or another, whether that's personality or something else. And then I scrolled through the comments and saw a dude played in the NFL, and then I clocked the situation immediately, because unfortunately it's a stereotype, but the stereotype rings true. Anytime there's a ball player, whether that's NFL, MLB, NBA, especially the NBA, all the players' girls look identical, bro. They all look like that Kardashian type, big lip, BBL, Fashion Nova model look, right? And if they don't look like that, typically they fall in one or two categories: high school sweetheart or very rich and famous. Anyways, the point is, rarely are people the exception to the norm. And sure enough, I looked dude's Instagram up. I checked his following, and not to give the sauce away, but if you want to know if you're your man's type or not, check his following, scroll through for about 5 seconds. You'll know immediately. And yeah, he's following a lot of women. Not one of them look like Simone Biles.
That's an interesting analysis from someone who's not in the relationship and presumably does not know the two people involved. Interesting analysis. Meanwhile, Biles talked about their relationship during Peacock's 2023 Back That Year Up with Kevin Hart and Kenan Thompson. When asked on who is the better athlete, she replied, I think we're good at our own sports. She said, considering difficulty and ability, gymnastics is harder, if he agrees or not. I know your name, said Thompson, pointing to Owens' claim that he didn't know who she was before they began dating. Hart then wanted to backtrack as he inquired about the debates and heated arguments being had in the Owens household, including who is the better athlete. We fought over it a couple of times, and then we vowed once we got married we wouldn't talk about it again. But it keeps coming up every time, Biles explained. He has done my workout in the gym, and he could barely do it. However, when it came to doing his NFL workouts, well, she crushed it. That doesn't surprise me. In terms of accomplishments in their respective sports, it's really not a fair comparison, right? Despite all the online chatter about her relationship with her husband, Biles appeared to be unbothered by it all. She is who she is. She posted this, bored with it, I guess. Are y'all done yet? So I guess let's talk more, if we can, about the lessons here. I'm just me. And, I think I told you offline, I don't really even leave the house. So just me. But I really don't have any business, is what I'm saying, Aida. But I still am very private. I'm very private. I've got zero business. Even my 12-year-old said, get some business about yourself, because you're always coming in the background and chiming in on my FaceTime group calls with my friends, little teeny boppers. But I tend to believe that nobody really needs to know everything. And it's difficult when you are a celebrity. People know your name. And so I think you probably have experience with people thinking they can ask you whatever they want and you're just supposed to answer because you agreed to an interview.
Mm-hmm. So thank you. I don't really consider myself a celebrity, but I appreciate it. I'm grappling with this, but I do not answer the questions that I do not want to answer. I've learned that it does follow you. I am a stand-up comedian. I am, locked in arms with people who are very famous. And I see, the way they're pursued and persecuted for every single thing that they say. And you have to be mindful that there's just a nation of people out there who have nothing to do but sit down and do research. I mean, imagine the people that have these skills that can go and find these old tweets and they find, to see who you're following. Imagine if they use that for a particular career. They would be super successful. They could be private investigators. They could work for the law. They could be historians. And yet they choose to use this stuff for the internet. I'm with you. I think it's important to know, and I do share a lot of my personal stuff. I wrote a book, but those are things that I'm willing to share that people who are in the stories I've gotten consent from. I don't want my husband talking about my relationship with him and how we met unless we are both on one accord of, you going, he said I swiped. So it just seems like it was a mutual thing and it just got turned into she pursuing him. And, I feel like when you do stuff like that, you just subject yourself to everything that the internet is, not just the good stuff, but the horrible stuff as well. And that's what we're seeing. It's really sad for me to watch because this is a very, should this wash over Simone's accomplishments?
Right.
Yeah, such an amazing year. Like, why are we talking about who met who on Raya? Who's the catch when she's one of the most celebrated athletes of our time. And she has done the unimaginuble. And that's why this is why this stuff bothers me, because now we're talking about, how she got her man and who got who and who is the catch and who's this and who's type. And everybody talking about it can't do what she did.
No.
Not a one.
No. Mm-mm. Can't even hop up on a curb and stay balanced now. And I kind of feel for him a little bit because as I listened to the initial controversy, the conversation that sparked it all, I don't think even when you are a headline maker that you understand sometimes that you can politely say, I don't really talk about that. There's certain things that are special between us, or you don't even have to elaborate. It's just not what you're going to do. So I think he was put off guard, and I'm not going to say they were expert interviewers, but expert at maybe being a little messy. And they, like we said, boxed him in to feeling like he was a secondary in this relationship of two equals. We're not talking about their accomplishments and gold medals and this and that and how many games somebody won. They go home and they lay down, hopefully next to each other, and they live this life that we're not privy to every angle of, every insight into. So, it just seems like it should fade away. I do not know, I concur, why we care so much. They both have great dimples. Okay. Yes. So to me, I see that they're a match, whatever. But the internet is all a buzz, and that you would do an entire TikTok like the one gentleman did, explaining how he looked and, the followers and the BBLs and the other athlete wives. Who are we really comparing ourselves to? How many of those relationships work out or don't? I hope that theirs is a sincere and truthful one. I wish him the best. I just wish him the best.
I just wanted to say quickly also, just beware. Like I was listening to him, and these generalizations that are being made, it's really not scientific data. It's like, this is what you've gathered from what you've seen on the internet.
Yeah.
Like there are 52 players on each team in the NFL. That's like 36 players. You don't know every single one of them. All of them are not on the internet. You don't know who everybody's dating. Who's married to or dating those types of women that are internet, whatever, that have that look, because they are on the internet, but you don't know everybody, to sit there and make those generalizations, and it's like it's spoken like with an authority. Like there are two categories, the high school sweetheart and the Kim Kardashian lookalike. No, it's a whole bunch of things and in between. And I will argue that Savannah James is one of the most beautiful women that I've seen, that somebody in the NBA is married to, who doesn't look like that, whatever look. And so I just sit there, and that's not settling for a high school sweetheart. That's dating, a beautiful woman that you've been with for a very long time. Yeah. So I think that, that's the thing about the internet. which I'm always telling people, is be careful who you're listening to, because people speak with authority, but what they don't have is information and data.
No, they don't. And might I add, I used to be a sideline reporter for the Cavs years ago, and LeBron was with the team, his first stint. And I probably had more conversations with Savannah under the tunnel, and she was always this very sweet, down to earth, natural beauty. And it seems that's how she remained. So you never know what's going on in someone's life. It can be that they fell in love as teenagers and they're living happily ever after. It really could just be that. She can be beautiful and not go the BBL route. But if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. Hey, do you, boo? Okay.